All right, y'all, now that we all have all the time in the world, it is time to get down to business and do some of those chores or tasks that we have been putting off for a very long time. One of those things, sewing that button that has been missing on your favorite shirt because you didn't know how or you didn't have time to do it. Here is how it's done. Before we get started, these are the things you're gonna need. You're gonna need your shirt that's missing a button. You're going to need some thread. This is white because the rest of the buttons that I have on my shirt are sewn with white thread. Make sure whatever thread you're using is matching the other buttons that are on your garment. Scissors, the button that's missing, and a needle and a pin. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of this entire thing. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is locate where your button needs to go. So if you are replacing a button that fell off, you should be able to find the exact place where the button fell, because there will be holes, 4 holes where it was sewn earlier. So that's pretty easy. If you lost the button and it fell off in an undetermined location because you had a wild and crazy night, or maybe you have a kid or a dog that ate it, check your garment first, because a lot of manufacturers actually sew extra buttons on the bottom of your shirt. So collar all the way, look at the bottom. They sewed 2 extra buttons in here, which is super handy, that are perfect replacements for your missing buttons. If not, you could try to find the best replacement, or you could go the whole route of doing mismatched buttons. That's kind of a popular trend right now. Just whatever, or you could replace all of your buttons and do something totally new. So we found the hole where we need to put the button in. So I found my pin, and I'm just going to place mark it so I don't lose my place while I cut my thread. So like I said, I have white thread. I'm going to cut about, let's say 2 feet. 2 feet's a little bit too long. So no, I have my thread. I'm going to cut about 18 inches worth of thread. And then thread my needle. Make sure your scissors are sharp, because that will give you a lot better of a straight cut to get your thread into your needle hole. Then I like to put the thread in my mouth to wet it, because it thins it out a little bit and makes it easier to put through the needle point. Okay. Once you've threaded your needle, pull it so it's even on both sides, and then we're going to knot this. I like to knot mine a couple times for safety so that the knot is bigger and will hold in place. Okay, once you've got that done, take your button and your needle. Here's my place marked spot. Try to line up the button on the holes where the last button was. If it's not perfect, it really doesn't matter. And then you are going to take your needle and come through the back so that the knotted end that you tied is on the back of your shirt or garment, and stick it through one hole. Okay. And then what you're going to do is take your pin back again, and this is going to be used as a placeholder. So right now you're going to hold it in place with your thumb like this, and then you're going to thread your needle across. So there are 4 holes. You want to put this one diagonal over the pin. The pin is acting as a placeholder so that there is some space in between the button and the shirt, so that there's room for the button to go into the buttonhole on the other side. Once you've gotten that in, you don't have to hold the pin anymore because your knot will have held it in place, or your stitch will have held it in place. And then all you're going to do, it's so easy, you're gonna basically make some X's with your needle going from the back end to the front end. And it's okay if you go over it. You want to make sure you go over each hole about 3 times. So that was my second time for this first stitch that I made, and I'm gonna go one more time before I make an X pattern. I'm not worrying so much about going the same way. As long as you go crisscross, it doesn't matter if you come in and out of the same holes every time. Honestly, the hardest part about sewing a button is not sticking yourself and trying to stick the needle in the right hole when you're coming from the back end. Okay, so I have a really good X sewn on here with my pin in. I'm going to flip over. You can tell my stitches weren't the prettiest, but that is not all that matters because this isn't going to be seen. We're going to create a double knot. So what I like to do is take my needle and go back through one of the seams like I just did. Pull it through, but not all the way, so that you still have your loop right here. And then loop this through so you can tie a knot really, really close to the fabric. And then we're gonna do that twice. And then just one more time for safety, I'm going to tie this in a knot like this. And then if you have any excess thread that is like this, you can just give it a snip really close. And then you can remove your pin from the buttonhole. This is so that you make sure you have plenty of room between your shirt and your button so that your button will fit tightly but fit into the hole on the other side. Amazing. You have no excuses at this point to not get these little things around the house done. This took me less than 5 minutes to sew on. I have plenty more shirts and pants where this came from that I am going to get busy with. And I might even go super crazy if I have lots of time and replace all the buttons on the shirt to give it a whole new look. Maybe some cool gold buttons, rose gold, silver. Maybe I'll paint my own buttons. Who knows? I have all the time in the world now. Thanks for watching How to Sew a Button. I'll see y'all next time.